I am continuing my reading. What I'm doing in this series is read through the entire standard works of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This consists of the Bible, the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. I am reading in a chronological order of events, not according to publication or volume, so I will be skipping around a little bit as I move along. Right now, however, I am still in Deuteronomy, getting towards the end. This will be chapter 31. Let us see how it goes. Moses counsels Joshua and all Israel to be strong and of good courage, law to be read to all Israel every 7 years. Israel will follow false gods and corrupt themselves. And Moses went and spake these words unto all Israel, and he said unto them, I am 120 years old this day. I can no more go out and come in. Also the Lord hath said unto me, Thou shalt not go over this Jordan. The Lord thy God, he will go over before thee, and he will destroy these nations from before thee, and thou shalt possess them. And Joshua, he shall go over before thee, as the Lord hath said. And the Lord shall do unto them as he did to Sihon and to Og, king of the Amorites, and unto all the land of them whom he destroyed. And the Lord shall give them up before your face, that ye may do unto them according unto all the commandments which I have commanded you. Be strong and of good courage, fear not, nor be afraid of them. For the Lord thy God, he it is that doth go with thee. He will not fail thee, nor forsake thee. Now this is Moses giving his final reassurance to Israel as a nation. See, I can't go with you. I'm too old and God won't let me. But Joshua, he's going to lead you. You go in there. You do what God told you to do. Don't worry. God's with you. Even if I'm not there, God's still going to be with you. God is with you as a people. He's not just with me. He is with you. Go in there and do what he has told you to do. It is actually a very nice, it's a nice word of reassurance to the people. Verse 7, And Moses called unto Joshua and said unto him, in the sight of all Israel, Be strong and of a good courage, for thou must go with this people unto the land which the Lord hath sworn unto their fathers to give them. And thou shalt cause them to inherit it. And the Lord, he it is that doth go before thee. He will be with thee. He will not fail thee, neither forsake thee. Fear not, neither be dismayed. Now this is a personal reassurance to Joshua. That, yes, God is with the people as a nation, but he is with Joshua as the leader of the nation. And he's saying, don't worry about leading these people. Don't worry about what you have to do. God is going to help you do it. And he says, be not dismayed. Neither be dismayed. Yet, I don't think that because he doesn't talk about him. When he talked about to the people, he said, don't fear them. Don't be afraid of the nations that you're going to destroy. But to Joshua, he doesn't say that. He says, he will not fail thee, neither forsake thee. Fear not, neither be dismayed. I think he's saying, Joshua, don't be afraid of leading these people. Don't let this position of leadership dismay you. God's with you. He will uphold you as the leader. But let us continue. Verse 9. And Moses wrote this law and delivered it unto the priests, the sons of Levi, which bear the ark of the covenant of the Lord, and unto all the elders of Israel. And Moses commanded them, saying, at the end of every 7 years, in the solemnity of the year of release, in the feast of tabernacles, when all Israel is come to appear before the Lord thy God in the place which he shall choose, thou shalt read this law before all Israel in their hearing. Gather the people together, men and women and children, and thy stranger that is within thy gates, that they may hear, and that they may learn and fear the Lord your God, and observe to do all the words of this law, and that their children, which have not known anything, may hear and learn to fear the Lord your God, as long as ye live in the land whither ye go over Jordan to possess it. Now this is an interesting commandment here. It says this law, and there are, Deuteronomy is a review of the law, as we said, that's what the term means, but there's a number of things given in Deuteronomy that are not given in Leviticus. Now, some of them are just clarifications, a little bit expounding a little more on, but there are some things that just, like the law of kings. Leviticus doesn't have the law of kings, of how kings are to rule. That's only in Deuteronomy. and the law of how to do a divorce. That's not in Leviticus. Leviticus doesn't talk about divorce. Only Deuteronomy does. So there is kind of these two separate laws. And when it says Moses had them write this law, I think he's talking more of Deuteronomy than he is of Leviticus. Now Leviticus they do write Leviticus, but he's talking about both, really. But a little bit, but the Deuteronomy is what you might say was added. Remember in the New Testament when the Pharisees asked Christ about divorce, and Christ says, "Well, unless there's fornication, you shouldn't be getting a divorce, anyways." And they say, "Well, Moses told us we could," and Christ says, "Because of the stiffness of your necks, Moses gave you that commandment." That commandment is in Deuteronomy, not in Leviticus. So Deuteronomy seems to me that Leviticus was given at the beginning of the 40 years. Deuteronomy is given at the end of the 40 years. So we have the law that God gave originally. And remember, God gave his law, then they had the golden calf, so God took the law and replaced it with a lesser law of carnal commandments, which is what Leviticus is. But after the 40 years and after a number of other rebellions and all that, Moses is giving an additional law that is for the people because they have shown over the course of 40 years that they are incapable of living lives, that they needed more minute commandments, some specific things, some things that needed to be allowed that are not great, they're not the best, but they're still good, such as divorce. Divorce is not evil, but it's not the best way to live. So we have these two separate kind of laws. That's what Deuteronomy seems to be to me. Now this is me just talking. Remember that. This is just my commentary. I think Deuteronomy, he reviews the law given in Leviticus to a large extent, but he also adds a little to it. And that's when Christ says, because of your stiff-neckedness, Moses permitted you to do this. Now, of course, God gave Moses permission to give these laws. These weren't just Moses adding stuff without God's approval. But again, Moses always went to God and said, "God, we got to do something about this." I think that's what this is. God is saying, Moses saying, "Look, I don't know if the people can handle some of these things. We need to do something." And God's saying, "Okay, so what do you propose?" And Moses says this, and this is what we get. So we get these two kind of laws. Both of them are to be read every 7 years, so that the people always remember what God has commanded and what God has done. Keeps them in remembrance and teaches them their proper duties in worshiping God. It teaches the young children. It teaches the strangers who want to live in the land. It teaches those who may have forgotten some things over the last few years. Refreshes the memory. Keeps everybody in remembrance of the law. Anyways, I've rambled enough. Verse 14. And the Lord said unto Moses, Behold, thy days approach that thou must die. Call Joshua and present yourselves in the tabernacle of the congregation, that I may give him a charge. And Moses and Joshua went and presented themselves in the tabernacle of the congregation. And the Lord appeared in the tabernacle in a pillar of a cloud. And the pillar of the cloud stood over the door of the tabernacle. Excuse me. And the Lord said unto Moses, Behold, thou shalt sleep with thy fathers, and this people will rise up and go a-whoring after the gods of the strangers of the land, whither they go to be among them, and will forsake me, and break my covenant which I have made with them. Then my anger shall be kindled against them in that day, and I will forsake them, and I will hide my face from them, and they shall be devoured, and many evils and troubles shall befall them, so that they will say in that day, Are not these evils come upon us, because our God is not among us? And I will surely hide my face in that day for all the evils which they shall have wrought in that day, in that they are turned unto other gods. Now therefore write ye this song for you, and teach it to the children of Israel. Put it in their mouths, that this song may be a witness for them against the children of Israel. For when I shall have brought them into the land which I swear unto their fathers, that floweth with milk and honey, and they shall have eaten and filled themselves, and waxen fat, then will they turn unto other gods and serve them, and provoke me, and break my covenant. And it shall come to pass, when many evils and troubles are befallen them, that this song shall testify against them as a witness. For it shall not be forgotten out of the mouths of their seed, for I know their imagination, which they go about, even now, before I have brought them into the land which I swear. Okay, so God is here saying, of course, pretty obvious, Israel's going to rebel. They're going to fall away. They're going to start worshiping false gods. All that's going to happen, and they're going to incur the wrath of God. He's going to have to punish them. He's going to have to bring about the cursings that have been described throughout the book of Deuteronomy. But now he is giving the song. This is the song of Moses. We will read this song in chapter 32. That is what chapter 32 is, the song of Moses. This is the song that we're talking about. And he's saying the people will always remember the song. It may be a thing in the back of their mind. But when they start suffering, when they fall away, and they start to suffer the wrath of God, then this song will bring them back to remember the Lord their God. Let us finish the chapter out. Verse 22. Moses therefore wrote this song the same day and taught it to the children of Israel. And he gave Joshua the son of Nun a charge and said, Be strong and of good courage, for thou shalt bring the children of Israel into the land which I swear unto them, and I will be with thee. And it came to pass, when Moses had made an end of writing the words of this law in a book, until they were finished, that Moses commanded the Levites, which bear the ark of the covenant of the Lord, saying, Take this book of the law, and put it in the side of the ark of the covenant of the Lord your God, that it may be there for a witness against thee. For I know thy rebellion, and thy stiff neck. Behold, while I am yet alive with you this day, ye have been rebellious against the Lord. And how much more after my death? Gather unto me all the elders of your tribes and your officers, that I may speak these words in their ears, and call heaven and earth to record against them. For I know that after my death ye will utterly corrupt yourselves, and turn aside from the way which I have commanded you, and evil will befall you in the latter days, because ye will do evil in the sight of the Lord, to provoke him to anger through the work of your hands. And Moses spake in the ears of all the congregation of Israel the words of this song until they were ended. My son's in the background again. But I like that. Moses goes to the people and says, Yep, God's told me you guys are going to, I know you're going to rebel. You've been rebelling my entire life. When I'm gone and you don't have me here, you're going to go way off the rails. So let me teach you this song to help you get back on track when you need to. I like that. But it is interesting that the book of this law is put in the side of the ark. It is not put in the main ark of the covenant, but it is put beside it. Because it is not the higher law. It is not the law of the celestial kingdom. It is a lesser law, and therefore it cannot be with the most holy objects. But it is still of God, and so it is still attached to the ark. Anyways, I will leave that here, and I will see you in the next one. We will sing the song of Moses.